Very good evening. You're watching NDTV with me, Rishika Barua. This is the show where you dial in with your questions relating to the coronavirus. We have a panel of expert doctors joining us as usual this evening as well, and they will answer any questions that you may have regarding the novel coronavirus. Dr. Devendra Marva, consultant diabetologist and endocrinologist, the head of Department of Endocrinology of the SVP Hospital in Ahmedabad, is joining us. He's an authority in the field of diabetes and endocrinology. Dr. Devang Desai, director and senior interventional cardiologist, Unicare and Mahavir Hospital from Surat, is also with us this evening. Appreciate you, doctors, for sparing the time of day to be with us. We do have a first caller on the broadcast, but I do want to ask, the doctors on the show a very important question regarding a new study which says that the coronavirus could actually, affect certain children. This is a study that has been conducted in Italy primarily, but there are cases in the US as well, which is, a particular syndrome linked with children who have the COVID-19, not the typical COVID symptoms, and it is being called the pediatric multisystem inflammatory syndrome. Dr. Marva, if I could, very briefly ask you about this new study, and is it a cause of worry in India as well?
Yes, good evening, Jessica. This is a very, very new, interesting observation which has been found in Italy and also confirmed in other parts of the world, UK and US. A new syndrome has been found, a study which was published by Italian author, which was published recently in JAMA Pediatrics. We showed that there are 10 children who were affected with this condition called multi-organ inflammatory syndrome, where several organs were involved, particularly heart. And this disease was just like Kawasaki disease,
yes,
where there are aneurysms in the coronary arteries, there are bleeding from several arteries in the body, there are skin rashes, there are blueness of the lips and eyes, and suddenly children go into what we call toxic shock. And there has been enormous mortality. There were 10 children which were, suffering from this condition, which were published by Italian author. And then similar findings have been found in Washington, New York, and London. So it's a question of worry. Fortunately, we have not seen such cases in our country, but we have to be concerned about it, because we are going to open lockdown, and whether there will be any transmission to children and which can pass on to the adults.
Desai,
so
if I
have to be very, very
right,
careful.
Dr. Desai, if I could bring you in as well. No cases so far in India, but it has been known, that the coronavirus doesn't affect children as much as it affects adults. Even if there are children who are infected with the virus, the symptoms are relatively mild. With this new study out in the public domain, do you think that, perhaps parents need to be extra cautious and careful, even when it comes to children? Dr. Desai?
Yeah, Kawasaki disease is as Dr. Marva said, is an inflammatory disease affecting heart, blood vessels, and lymph nodes. Now, this disease is very rare, and it was not so common and seen for many years. And Lancet has published this disease 4 or 5 years back, and now suddenly there is a spurt of such a disease in a corona cases. And out in Italy, out of 10 patients, 8 patients had corona positive, COVID positive test. So ultimately, it is we have to be vigilant, and in pediatric cardiology, we have to see for the symptoms. And main symptoms we found is the external body is the blackening of the toes, and redness of eyes, and rashes all over the body.
Yes.
And that is what is a very important typical symptom. Whenever we find, we have to be vigilant, and we have to keep watch on it.
All right. So extremely important, to be vigilant at this time. But let's take the first caller that we have on the broadcast this evening. Karthik, dialing in from Tamil Nadu. Go ahead.
So yesterday, monsoon started. Will the corona case increase?
Sorry, Karthik, we didn't follow your question. Could you repeat that?
Yesterday, the monsoon has started. Will the corona case increase?
Will coronavirus cases increase? Dr. Marva, there is, of course, rising numbers every day. Don't see the numbers declining anytime soon.
Yeah, definitely we are seeing that all over the country, the number of cases of corona are increasing right now. And as the graph is going on, we are going to see more and more number of patients in coming 2 or 3 months. And the reason is that there is a community spread, and we are not able to contain in spite of very, very strict lockdown. and it's a very contagious disease, and that's the reason why we are seeing more and more number of patients. Number two, there is increased awareness, there are more testing, and because of all these two phenomena, number one, increasing number of cases and testing, we are seeing more number of cases.
Well, absolutely, and the increasing amount of testing also results, in the increasing numbers that are coming out in the public domain. Jogeshwar Rao is dialing in from Hyderabad. Go ahead.
Yes, good evening, Rishika and respected doctors. My part one is actually about the recent world statistics reveal that men are more susceptible to this COVID virus because of ACE2 enzyme. So, in this connection, I wanted to inquire about what about as a precautionary measure, ACE inhibitors, use of ACE inhibitors in this area. Second part is whenever vaccine comes, what will be the procedure of method of administration of this vaccine?
All right. So, two questions. Dr. Desai, first, would you like to take the question on the study which says that men are actually more vulnerable to the coronavirus than women?
Yeah, there is we found in the data demography that the men are more affected than the female, and it is yet to find why this has happened. But then only thing is there is regarding the correlation with the S receptors, which are there mainly in the heart, myocytes, and the corona virus has a tendency to bind to these receptors, and it causes inflammation and sometimes myocarditis, the weakening of the heart, resulting in sometimes the heart failure. And so this type of correlation is there. But ACE enzymes, ACE receptors are more in the male, and that's why this happens. It is very early to correlate, and we need more studies.
And in fact, yesterday when we discussed this issue in great detail, doctor said that the precautionary measures, of course, have to be the same for men and women, irrespective of the susceptibility being higher in men. But Dr. Marva, would you very briefly like to take on the second part of that question as well, which is, as and when a vaccine is developed, how long will it take for the vaccine to be accessible and administered to people?
Rishika, Mr. Jogeshwar asked a very, very interesting and important question. I'm sure that it's a very attractive proposal to have vaccine, but there are three difficulties. Number one, issue of safety. Second thing, efficacy, and third, the timeline.
Right.
Vaccines have been tried to develop for several diseases, but there are always some side effects, and they can be sometimes lethal. And second thing, whether it is going to be universally effective and for how long is also questionable. And last thing, timeline. A good vaccine to develop, at least it takes 1.5 years. So we cannot expect anything before the end of December.
So 1 to 1.5 years is the broad timeline. That's very important. Our next caller, Angad, is on the phone line from Gurugram. Go ahead.
Good evening. Thank you for having me here. My question was that I read about the symptom that the COVID-19 virus causes rash near the toe areas. Is there a reason why?
All right, Dr. Desai, you actually talked about it. This is regarding the study that we're putting out. Yes.
This is the pediatric multisystem inflammatory syndrome. It is a part of it. As I said, it affects the vascular system, and that is why there is a cytokine release. There is a increased tendency of thrombosis. So the small blood vessels supplying toes is affected, and there is a thrombosis in it, and that results in discoloration and pre-gangrenous like signs in the legs, and that is what is responsible for discoloration.
Right. And Dr. Desai, would you like to add, Dr. Marva, would you like to add anything? Because it's interesting. Here's a study that has come out into the public domain, which actually says that it affects children of all ages. So it affects infants as well as children who may be in their teenage years.
Well, so far all the studies have shown that children are affected less. If you see all the data, right, from China to US and UK, only 1 or 1.2% of children are affected with COVID. But if we see by rapid testing, more number of children may be affected. But unfortunately, the children, they are having very atypical symptoms and signs. They may not have the classical symptoms and signs like cough, fever, flu-like reactions. And they can have atypical symptoms and signs like skin rashes, etc. And many of them can be asymptomatic also, and they can be a super spreader and carriers. So we have to be careful what is happening in children, and we need to study very closely.
All right. Our next caller, Mr. Bhaske, is calling from Solapur. Go ahead.
Yes, sir. My question is, can coronavirus spread through water?
All right.
Hello.
Yes.
Yeah.
Dr.
Yeah.
Desai?
Yeah, good question. Because water is consumed everywhere, and everybody is worried that the water can consume. And by and large, the water is not responsible for transmission of coronavirus. It spreads through droplets, air droplets, or from the surface transmission when you touch a surface. And so, any water which has been what you call as filtered and properly, it is palatable and drinkable, is usually not responsible. And so far, no case has been reported transmitted through water as a waterborne disease.
All right. Mr. Hariharan is dialing in from Chennai. Go ahead.
Hello. Good evening, sir. This is Hariharan calling from Chennai.
Good evening, sir. Please ask your question.
Yeah, see, I just want to know when we go to a ready-made store and take a dress, what is how to find out somebody should have wear the dress? How can we find out the dress is safe?
All right. Dr. Marva, would you like to take on that question?
Well, such things will keep on coming in our day-to-day life, and we have to be careful, and no surface is free of having virus. So we have to be careful, and whether some person is worn or not, we can't know, but only thing we need to be more vigilant and careful while using any object seen or touched by somebody else.
I think, Dr. Marva, the question is also about drugs, about medication that you buy. How do you know what medication is safe and what isn't?
See, there are two types of safety we are discussing, whether medicine, whether they are causing some adverse effects on their own, which people are trying to take over the counter.
Right.
We have to be careful. And second thing, whether there is a spread of viral infection. Well, all surfaces are vulnerable or susceptible to pass on a viral load to a person who is coming into contact.
All right.
But
and I think one of the things that's also been reiterated in the past as well is how do you examine the efficacy of a medicine? Well, don't self-medicate. Do it only in consultation with the doctor. Our next caller, Surya Narayan, is dialing in from Chennai. Go ahead.
Yes, doctor, I would like to speak to Dr. Marva, diabetologist. Doctor, I've been advised from the local diabetologic center that all diabetic patients must have the pneumonia and the flu vaccine. Is it advisable to go ahead at this time, or what is your opinion on this?
Dr. Marva, specific advice for diabetes patients.
Yes, well, the all American Diabetes Association and Indian Association of Diabetes, they do, recommend that person with susceptible age, that is above the age of 60 years, having type 2 diabetes, they should take the flu shots and pneumococcal shots to prevent infection from these organisms. But currently in this situation where this other virus is so widespread, it is not so advisable to go ahead with this pneumococcal and influenza vaccine. And again, this is not going to protect you against COVID if that is your wish.
All right, Dr. Marva and Dr. Desai are going to continue to be live with us. We're going to slip into a very short break, but like I said, both the doctors will be with us. So keep your questions coming on the other side of a short break. Welcome back. Our expert doctors continue to be live with us, Dr. Deveen Marva and Dr. Devang Desai. We also have our next caller on the phone line. Shyam Verma is calling from New Delhi. Go ahead.
Yes, good evening, doctors.
Good evening.
Dr. we are planning to attend a marriage on the 19th of May. Kindly suggested what precautions should our family take? We are 5 people going to Dehradun from Delhi.
Yes.
And, Dr. Desai, would you like to take that on?
Yeah, in this COVID era, you are lucky that you are going when it is going towards the peak to Dehradun from Delhi. Now, the number of people attending any ceremony should be restricted. And as you said, you 5 people are going. And second thing, you have to take measures of social distancing. Whenever you go there, even during travel, you have to use the social distancing if you are traveling by train or by car or anything. After reaching there, you must use the face mask on the way as well as during the ceremony. And you must, whenever you touch any surface, any tabletop, any knobs, etc., you must clean your hands with the soap and water with at least 20 seconds. Or you can use the alcohol-based rubs to clean your hands. And whenever you are there in the marriage, you have to also keep social distancing. You have to, at least 1 meter distance has to be there between each other, and you should not get involved in getting together. And whenever there is if you have a dinner or any celebration, you must use the buffet rather than going for the going.
All right. So whole host of precautions that are actually being being recommended by the doctor. Our next caller, Ramachandran, is dialing in from Ahmedabad. Go ahead.
Yeah. Can I ask the question?
Please, sir. Go ahead.
Yeah. Go ahead.
Yeah. My question is, someone who is suffering from thyroid as well as diabetes, are there any extra precautions that have to be taken?
Dr. Marwa, would you like to take that on?
Go to, I think, Dr. Siven Marwa.
Yes, definitely. As you know, the diabetics are more vulnerable to contract COVID. And secondly, when they contract, the severity of the disease is very bad. And unfortunately, if they develop severe disease, the chances of mortality are very high. Because of several reasons. Number one, they are having lesser subdued immunity. Second thing, they are having several complications, cardiac, kidney, etc. So, because of all these reasons, diabetics are very, very susceptible and vulnerable to contract disease and have severity. And what they need to do, they need to put their house in order. They need to control their diabetes very effectively and efficiently. They need to manage other diseases like hypertension, cardiac problems, etc. As far as thyroid is concerned, there is no excess, worries or concern as far as COVID is concerned.
Right.
Thyroid dysfunction doesn't attract patients to develop COVID excessively other than non-thyroid patients.
All right. So that's, of course, a whole list of precautions that ought to be taken if you are a diabetes patient, especially at a time when the world is battling a pandemic. Dr. Marwa and Dr. Desai, thank you so much for joining us on the broadcast this evening. Thank you for your time and patience for answering all of those questions. That's all we have time for on the show. Up next is the 8 p.m. news. Stay tuned.